be around many groups of kids like this, and that says a lot coming from me because I've been around some very special football teams. So, you know, I just feel great for these football players here at Penn State today. Is that it?
Coach, the first win as a Penn State head coach, how's that feel for you? I mean, a couple of tight games, could have had a couple weeks ago, last week a tight game, but to finally get it today, how's that feel?
Well, winning feels great, and you know, obviously in the history of Penn State football, there's been a lot more wins than losses, and so it feels great. But again, it's only one win, and feel really good for our players and our staff. I feel great about the student body. It was just awesome today. I really did. I mean, they were just great, and you know, just like I told the team, we got to get treatments tomorrow, take care of the bumps and bruises on Monday. We got to get ready for a very, very good Temple team who's coached by a good friend of mine, Steve Adazio, who's a very, very good team. So it's time to move forward pretty quickly here.
Bill, I wonder if you could talk about Allen Robinson. He got wide open a lot today there. Just about his emergency, 25 catches or whatever, first 3 games.
Yeah, he's just a really good young receiver, and he works extremely hard at the game. He studies the game. He's a fantastic kid. He's just always got a smile on his face. Really enjoys playing here. He's just a fun guy to coach. He's like a lot of these guys, and feel great for Allen. And again, it's only 3 games for him, and he's had a very solid year to this point. But he knows, and we all know that he can get better, and that's what he's going to try to do start Monday.
Hey Bill, can you give an update on some of the injured guys that didn't play today? How close they maybe were to playing today, and how close they are to returning?
I'd say that Donovan Smith should be ready to go for Temple, but again, probably check back in with me early in the week. Billy Belton, I think that was a tough ankle deal that he had, so we'll see how he's doing early in the week. Be day to day still, I would say. Who am I missing? Derek Day, that's a shoulder separation. That's a very painful injury, so that's a day-to-day deal. Ty Howell, our backup center, should be back for this Temple game. He's been out with a torn pec. He should be back. He's a very important part of that offensive line. Massaro's again, again, he's had some ups and downs with his knee. He's a very tough kid, and that'll you guys can ask me that from now until the end of the time. That's always going to be day to day. So why don't we just pencil that one in as day to day?
Bill, how about the tradition of singing at the end there? Could you speak to that? Are you a baritone or a bass?
I messed that up in the first game. I was supposed to do that in the first game, and I'm going to continue to talk to the band director about that because it felt really good doing it after a win. But with the Naval Academy and Penn State, what we agreed on today is that we would sing with their band at the end, and then they would come down and sing with our band, at the Penn State band. And I thought that was pretty neat. To me, that's what college football is all about, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Also, can you talk about the decision not to kick the field goal? You're up 20-0. He had missed an extra point. Could you speak to that?
I think it was on the 8-yard line, and I just felt good about the play call. It had nothing to do with Sam Ficken. I just felt good about the play call that I had at that point, and obviously it didn't work out. We blew the protection on that, and I wouldn't take that call back. Though I just felt really good about that play call, and it didn't work out.
Hey Bill, back to Allen Robinson. Is there anything particular when you watch it on film that is allowing him to get open all these times? And I know you mentioned earlier in the year that someone asked if he'd be your go-to receiver, and you mentioned how your offense more caters to having a lot of guys get the ball. Are you surprised that he's had so many receptions and everything in this game?
No, not surprised. You definitely would like to spread it around a little bit more than we have. Probably, I think we hit it. We threw to a bunch of guys today. I think there's probably a bunch of guys that had 1 or 2 catches. I know that, but again, he's just a guy that runs. He plays a position that's always in a formation where he has a chance to be singled up. So a lot of times he's singled up, and that's part of the read. It's not like we're just saying, hey, throw to Allen Robinson no matter what. We never do that. Allen knows that, and Matt knows that, but he's part of the read, and he's done a really good job to this point of catching the football and making some plays.
Bill,
the importance you thought of making the quarterback for Navy uncomfortable all game with pressure, and also specifically the play that Stanley and Hodges made in the red zone with the turnover when you guys were up 14-0.
Yeah, that was a big play because that was a fairly long drive. But just going back to the first question, Ted and I, we both have a lot of experience with option football, and we know that Navy is a very, very tough, very well-coached football team. So you gotta, in our experience against option football, you gotta try to change it up. You can't stay in one front, one coverage the whole game and expect them to, expect yourselves to stop them. So we felt like that was a really good game plan. I thought Ted called a heck of a game, and more importantly, I thought the kids played great. And on that play, those are guys. Sean Stanley is a guy that I should really mention more. He plays extremely hard. He was a captain today. Wish we had another guy. Wish we had for longer period of time. And they both. Gerald obviously is a heck of a football player. And they both made a great play on that one.
Bill, talk about Michael Zordich. When you took over here, I don't think you figured he'd be your #1 running back, but he filled in pretty good for you today.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, a Youngstown kid. His dad was a captain here. And we've had Michael and I have had a lot of conversations about his role on the football team, and he's always reminded me that I used to run the ball in high school, coach. I used to run the ball in high school, coach. I got you. It's like Ferris Bueller's teacher. You know what I mean? It's like over and over. But he's a great kid, and with the injuries there, we felt like he was a guy that we wanted to get on the field a little bit more, and I thought he did for the most part. He's got to get his pads down at certain times, but I thought for the most part he did a good job.
Bill, how you doing?
Hey guys.
You guys have forced 8 turnovers over the past 2 games. What are some of the reasons for that?
Again, I think we practice that. We do at the beginning of every practice, probably like most defenses in the country. We work on stripping the ball. We work on strip sacks. We work on interception drills, tip ball drills, ripping the second guy in, ripping the ball out, how to recover the football. We talk about the rules as it relates to turnovers, as it relates to block kicks and things like that. And so it's always emphasized, and I think our kids have just done a great job of being alert for those things, and it's really helped over the last couple of games.
Jordan Hill, the mystery running back, and were you going to give him the ball before that penalty?
I'm not telling. Oh, is he the mystery running back? No. He was. Yeah, he's part of that mystery running back committee.
Hey, Bill, back left. Can you pick a few good things from this game that you're going to try to build upon in practice this week?
I thought we made a couple chunk plays down the field, which was good. We threw the ball down the field a little bit. I thought that was good. I thought we ran the ball from tackle to tackle pretty well until the end there. We had a couple missed assignments there. We got to get that cleaned up. I think overall, I think our passing game is okay, but I know it can be better. And so I just want to clean that up. We didn't actually drop back and throw it too much. Matt had a couple really nice plays though in the first half where he hit the in cut to Allen. And that was a really nice play. So we know we've got a lot of work to do there, but it's coming along. And I really want the second team players here right now are, in my opinion, really good players, and they're a heartbeat away. And I want them to go in there and play better, when they go in there. So I think that's something we can work on during the week too.
Hey, Bill, to follow up on Guy's question, just on the flip side of that, you guys have created a lot of turnovers, but Matt and the offense have done a pretty nice job of not turning it over themselves the last few games. Talk about, that.
That was, something that wherever I've been, we've always emphasized that we've got to take care of the football, and the more you talk about it and then you coach it, like Matt does a really good job. It's little things that Matt's doing that I think are pretty good, like when the rush is coming in on him, how he has 2 hands on the ball and he keeps the ball close to his body, so they can't strip the ball away from him. He does little things like that. He's still doing a decent job of either taking the sack or throwing the ball away. Or running or scrambling. I thought he had a couple of decent scrambles today. So those are things that he's really, really worked on, and we've harped on it with him, and I'm happy for him today.
Bill, is there anything more that just having a win, and a pretty big win, gives to the attitude and the feeling among the team that might keep it together, and the NCAA has put you in a weird situation where I think that's important? Do you even think about that, or are you just going to let that go as it goes?
The one thing that winning does is winning cures a lot of things, and winning also breeds confidence. And so so when the guys go out there and they start fast, we didn't play, this unbelievably great game, but we played good enough to win. And now the guys have confidence that when they lifted all those weights in the summer, when they practiced the way we practiced, that there's a reward for that, and that we can win, and that we know how to win. And it's a new staff, and this new staff knows how to win. And us together with these players, we know how to win. There's nothing, like I've said from day one, there's nothing that any of us can do about, the coaches and players can do about the NCAA. All we can do is play under the rules with which they say to play under. And so that's what we're doing. And these kids have really stuck together. This group of players in that locker room right now are just very, very high character kids that have come together, and hopefully it's one win, and hopefully we can build on it.
Bill, you talked about Sean Stanley a little bit, but what were your thoughts on the way Deion Barnes played today from that other end spot?
I just think Deion Barnes is, he's a guy that, I know Larry probably gets mad at me because I talk about him so much. I just think he's a really, really good football player, young football player that's got a huge future. If you've coached in the National Football League and you know what a good pass rusher looks like a Tom Ali, like a DeMarcus Ware, I'm not saying that he's there yet, but he does things, the way he gets off on the football, the way he uses his hands, the way he can get on an edge, the way he understands where the quarterback sets up, the way he strips the ball from the quarterback, or he tries to when he sacks the quarterback. As a young player, to be able to do that, that just means to me that he's got a really big future, and I just think he's a great kid, and I'm happy for him today too.
Hey, Bill. Obviously, Allen Robinson had a huge game, but can you talk about the efforts of Trevor Williams and Brandon Mosey-Felder filling the void of Shawnee Kersey?
Yeah, those guys, all those receivers had a really good week of practice. They came ready to work. They're coached very well by Stan Hickson, and it's really, again, it just comes under that phrase of next man up. It's the next man up, and that's what they did. And Mosby-Felder has gotten better and better over the last 3 or 4 weeks of practice, and so he was going to play anyway. So it's next man up with him, and I thought, overall he did some decent things today.
How would you evaluate Paul Jones today, and do you expect to kind of get him more involved against Temple?
Yeah, we'll get him more involved, and he's a great kid, and I was glad to see him catch that ball. That was good, a good start for him, and he also had a couple blocks in there too, which was good to see, and we'll keep building that package with them.
Bill, were you expecting the shower at the end, and when that happened, that kind of sealed the deal on this day and what it meant to everybody?
I wish they didn't do that. I think it's more about the players than it is. It's not, it's really about the players and the staff. And I'm soaking wet right now, and it was one game, so I was happy. I heard the crowd, so I kind of figured something was up. But leave it to whoever. I think it was Hodges, of course, and probably Mowdy. So they probably enjoyed it, and they'll get a laugh out of it tonight when they're sitting around commiserating about the game.
Still a lot of offensive linemen in and out of the game today. Can you talk about that decision to make that rotation, and are you still searching for that combination up front?
Well, we had some injury. We had Donovan out today, and I think when we got it to where it was 34-7, we put some guys in there. Shrive played some tackle earlier in the game. So, I like our starting five that we started the year with Donovan Smith, but I think there's some guys there, Angelo Mangiero, Eric Shrive, Ty Howell will be back this week, Nate Cadogan, guys like that we got to keep working into the mix here, I think, because that'll bode well for the future. You really learn by playing, and so that's what we're trying to do.